everybody, my name is Gavin David, and this is Speech 4. This is my audience. Imagine watching an NBA game when nearly every possession ends in a three-point attempt. While it might seem impressive at first, the repetition soon becomes predictable and has now even become boring. There is 35 attempts per game on average through the whole NBA today of three-point attempts per game. This number has progressively increased since the beginning of the NBA. Now, here's a graph right here where viewership is taken into account. Now, on the far left side right here, we have the 1980s, and this is a million, so 12.4 million. Now, in 1990, we have 18.7 million viewers, 13.6 million viewers, 15.5 million viewers, and 7.5. And it did an increase, a slight decrease, and then we have an increase here in 15.5. Now, Steph Curry came into the league in 2009, and he revolutionized the three ball. And we can see here that in 2010, we have that slight increase from about 2 million. And then once the three ball became revolutionized and we had every player shooting three-pointers, it slowly went down to now 7.5. And it doesn't show the curve here 2010 to 2020, but it started the decrease around 2018 and has progressively gotten worse to now. This is in direct correlation to three-point shooting, in my opinion. The problem of reliance. The NBA has gotten used to reliance. It's simply statistics. They say for every 100 two-point shots to every 100 three-point shots that you would score more off of a three ball. And the NBA has now just become stats instead of just players playing basketball. The most shot in the NBA today is the corner three. This shot is what makes the game boring. You see probably 50 corner shots of threes consecutively in games over and over and over again. And there's nothing new going on every time you watch an NBA game. There's no excitement. There's nothing that just pops to you when you're watching. And this is why there's a downhill in the amount of viewership that we're seeing. This is another graph of shot distribution between different players throughout the 1980s to the 1990s. On the far left, we start in the 1980s. The green is the three-point range. The yellow to orange-ish color is mid-range. And the blue is paint shots. So we see that in 1980, the most shots that were taken in total were mid-ranges. And then we have paint shots below that. And then we have three-point shots. Now, as you see in 1990, it starts to lessen and the three-point rises. And this stays congruent through the whole graph here. And the same with the paint shots and the mid-ranges even come to the same here. So we now see that 50% of the shots in today's league is three-point shots compared to paint shots and mid-range shots just now being down to a mere 20%. Now I think this is directly related to the viewership as well. Now, again, three-point attempts, you see, this is just another statistic of three-point attempts just increasing throughout the years, pretty much as I've said, and also increase in three-point attempts through the decades. This is just a singular graph to show you, so it might be easier for the eye. Now, my solution to this problem would be to shorten the three-point line, where you wouldn't have a three-point line on the corner of the rim, and you would push the three-point line 5 feet back. In my opinion, this would extend the amount of game that players would have to create. You wouldn't just see players only shooting in the corner or just standing on the 28-foot line and shooting three-pointers. The three-point line would be 33 feet, and that would be a basic three-pointer. And that's where you typically see Steph Curry shoot most of his deep shots when he gets comfortable. If you did this, you would have most players be uncomfortable shooting three-pointers, which would open up the mid-range again, open up the paint, and open basketball creativity in general instead of just going with the numbers and statistics and shooting three-pointers. So the solution again is extend the three-point line, get rid of the corners for three-point lines, and I think this would increase shot difficulty, which would help the defense out significantly with spacing. It would encourage a balanced offense where you wouldn't just have three-pointers, you would have paint shots and mid-ranges, and instead of seeing where you have the three-point shots be 50% and your mid-ranges and paint be 20%, you would have more of a third split, 33%, 33%, 33%. And I think that would significantly increase the viewership in the NBA today. So with this change, I think the game will be rebalanced, and it would give it a new drive and a new aspect that people would watch rather than just go to a new sport, which typically right now, soccer has been taking viewership, the NFL takes viewership, but mostly FIFA, so soccer has been taking over as far as viewership. Now, the way that you or anybody else could help make this change, there's really not much we can do except voice our opinion, post on online forums whenever the NBA asks for something, just tell them, even though most people don't watch the NBA anymore, that typical basketball fans, engage in rule evolution for a better game. This is the primary factors that you could play into trying to get this rule changed, but most likely it won't be, but it's a strong opinion that I hold. That is the end of my speech. Thank you for listening. Is there any questions?
When did Steph Curry get drafted?
2009. Is there any other questions?
Who's your favorite player?
Luka.
Okay.
Doncic. All right, that will be all. That is speech 6. Gavin David.